Russian summer offensive. This is what it really looks like. BMPs torn to shreds, tank turrets soaring through the sky, explosions everywhere. Today we've gathered the most intense, most recent moments from the front lines. From downed Russian warplanes to rocket launchers being obliterated. You're about to witness it all. Russian occupiers had gathered in front of an apartment building, carelessly piling up their ammunition. Their voices echoed through the quiet city streets, unaware they were being watched from above. But for Ukraine's kamikaze drones, this noise wasn't just disturbing, it was intolerable. Direct hit. Another drone was sent. A perfect explosion. At that moment, multiple Russian tanks were detected as they prepared to strike Ukrainian positions, but they weren't just spotted, they were marked for destruction. Ukrainian artillery and drone units responded within seconds. The first shell landed, then another. One by one, the armored threats were neutralized before they could fire a single shot. The ambush was clean, fast, and devastating. This is the Russian Ural 4320, tasked with transporting troops directly toward Ukrainian defensive lines. But their presence doesn't go unnoticed. They're spotted instantly. FPV drone operators receive coordinates and begin preparations. Within moments, drones take off, locking on to the target. The strike is precise. Soldiers leap from the truck and scatter, running, not toward safety, but unknowingly toward their fate. The vehicle explodes seconds later, a perfect hit, captured on camera. Then Ukrainian forces follow up with cluster munitions. The sky rains fire. As the explosions continue, the truck burns in the background, fully consumed. Another Russian vehicle attempts to assist, and it too is destroyed. No escape, no rescue, just fire. Near the quiet village of Hrozove in the Zaporizhia region, a Russian drone production site was discovered. Ukraine's Air Force moved fast. The location was camouflaged to look like civilian buildings. 3 GBU-39 precision bombs were launched, each one locked in. Each one hit. Within seconds, the entire complex was reduced to dust. One of Russia's key drone hubs wiped off the map. In the Donetsk region, Ukrainian reconnaissance drones detected a Russian BM-21 Grad multiple rocket launcher system. The drone unit sprang into action immediately. Engines roared to life. Targets were locked, and just seconds later, direct hit. A perfect explosion. Let's rewind that footage. A scene worthy of the archives. Smoke, fire, annihilation. In the Novopavlivka direction, soldiers of the Reed Battalion spot a rare target, a North Korean M1991 multiple rocket launcher. A kamikaze drone is launched. It closes in, fast. Direct hit. The warhead strikes a shell sitting on the guide rail, and that's when it happens. The rocket detonates and is violently ejected from the launcher. A fireball bursts from the cabin. One less launcher in the war. And this is a tank already abandoned. No crew, no movement, just metal. But it's still a threat. FPV drones are launched to ensure it never returns to battle. Seconds later, target eliminated. This armored personnel carrier was advancing while firing at Ukrainian positions, carrying Russian troops straight into battle. But Ukrainian soldiers didn't wait. Anti-tank systems locked on. Direct hit, but the vehicle keeps moving. It's trying to escape. Ukrainian forces reposition quickly, tracking the APC's new location. Second shot launched. Direct hit again. And then a perfect explosion. It's over. The Russians were using this building as a shelter and a hidden stockpile for ammunition, but it didn't stay hidden for long. An FPV drone was launched. Its mission? Eliminate the shelter. One strike, one hit, complete destruction. Mission accomplished in seconds. This Russian tank couldn't handle the pressure and tried to flee from Ukrainian positions, but the chase had already begun. The first drone hit the engine compartment, just enough to slow it down and stop its escape. Then came the second. A direct strike to the turret, damaging the optics, blinding the tank. It came to a complete stop. And then, the finisher. A third drone struck with precision, setting the vehicle ablaze. The tank burned, unusable, unrecoverable, a masterpiece in modern warfare. Seeing the destruction, another Russian tank turned and tried to escape, but that decision sealed its fate. A second FPV drone was already hunting. It locked on and struck. A perfect explosion. One hit, total kill. In just seconds, the occupier's armor was wiped out completely. Our infantry reported that Russian forces were gathering in this building, preparing to launch an assault on our positions. The building held significant strategic value. It couldn't be ignored. A kamikaze drone solved the problem. Problem eliminated. Permanently. Now witness the never-before-seen footage of the SBU's Special Op, Operation Pavotina, a mission that took out 41 Russian strategic aircraft. Most of the planes were destroyed beyond repair. Others will take years, maybe decades, to rebuild. 4 enemy airfields were struck. The attacks were carried out using FPV drones controlled by cutting-edge tech, combining manual precision with AI-powered autonomy. Even when signals dropped, some drones continued, guided by pre-programmed paths. Once near the target, they activated automatically. No signal, no mercy, just execution. The damage? According to reports, the estimated value of the destroyed equipment exceeds $7 billion USD, a masterclass in modern warfare. A Russian BMP rolls into the line of sight of Ukrainian infantry. Within seconds, an FPV drone team is activated, locked and loaded. As the drone closes in, the unexpected happens. The BMP hits a mine, disabled instantly, but the mission isn't over. The Ukrainian drone operator stays focused. Russian troops panic, circling the wreck in confusion. They don't know where to run or what to do. Then, perfect timing. The drone slams into its target. Clean, devastating, final. And in the chaos, one Russian soldier just stands there, right next to the vehicle, motionless, oblivious. Some say he fell asleep on his feet. How else do you explain such fatal stillness in the middle of war? This run-down-looking ruin wasn't just debris. It was a hidden bunker with strategic value. And it had to be destroyed, urgently, no time wasted. FPV drones were immediately dispatched. The first drone, it took care of the entrance, blasting open the basement door. The second, it followed right after. And wiped the bunker off the map. 2 drones, 1 surgical strike. Mission accomplished. This Russian tank group was preparing to launch an assault on Ukrainian positions. They had just begun to move when a Ukrainian recon drone spotted them, and then action. One tank is hit and explodes. The others panic, and that's when the real mistakes begin. A second tank, just behind the one that exploded, rolls right onto a mine. Another blast. Not professional, not prepared. 2 more tanks rush to escape the ambush. But they don't know. An FPV drone is already hunting them. Boom. A perfect hit. One of the remaining tanks, seemingly enraged, fires blindly, charging toward the recon drone. Big mistake. Another perfect explosion, another tank down, another victory. And there they were, 2 Russian tanks, sitting motionless in the middle of the battlefield as if nothing had happened. Their intention was clear, to appear abandoned. Of course, they had no idea. They were being watched from the very beginning by Ukrainian reconnaissance drones. Ukraine's FPV team moved in, hit. The first explosion, no reaction, still motionless. Then came the second strike. Still, no response. But Ukrainian drone operators knew their craft. Patient, precise, relentless. By the third hit, the game was over. One of the tanks realized it had been spotted. Smoke began to rise, but bizarrely, the invaders from the second tank ran toward the smoking one and climbed inside. They tried to flee, but it was pointless. The final drone was sent. Realizing the tank was doomed, the Russian soldiers began fleeing on foot. The invaders tried to flee on foot, but they didn't get far. Exhausted, they slipped into nearby structures, just trying to rest. But rest wasn't an option. Their time ran out, so did the building.